You found this. That means something. That means everything. Only certain people discover this message, and the fact that you're here right now isn't chance. It's recognition. The universe has a way of delivering exactly what you need, exactly when you're ready to receive it. And your readiness just activated something that's been waiting for you. There's been a signal running through your life, hasn't there? A frequency that keeps showing up in ways that make you pause. The synchronicities that seem too perfect to ignore. The moments when time feels different, when reality bends just enough for you to notice. You've been tuned into something most people can't even detect, and that's not an accident. That's selection. But what is this selection process really? It's your consciousness recognizing itself across dimensions of possibility. Every time you've felt that electric feeling of, this is important. Every time you've paused mid-step because something in your environment suddenly felt charged with meaning. Every time you've caught yourself in those moments where the ordinary world momentarily reveals its extraordinary nature. You've been receiving confirmation that you're operating on a different wavelength than consensus reality. This wavelength isn't something you developed overnight. It's been building, strengthening, refining itself through every challenge you've faced, every moment of doubt you've overcome, every time you've chosen to trust something beyond what your physical senses could confirm. Your capacity to perceive beyond the obvious has been expanding, and now you're at a threshold where that expansion is about to accelerate exponentially. The reason certain messages find you while others scroll past them is because your consciousness has become a magnet for specific types of information. Not random information, not entertainment, not distraction, but activation codes, frequency upgrades, reminders of who you really are beneath all the conditioning that taught you to think small, to doubt your perceptions, to dismiss the extraordinary as impossible. You've been living in multiple realities simultaneously without fully realizing it. There's the reality everyone else sees, the one governed by limitation, scarcity, struggle, where change is slow and miracles are rare. Then there's the reality you've been glimpsing, the one where intention creates outcomes, where consciousness shapes matter, where what you expect with your whole being becomes what you experience in your external world. Most people live exclusively in the first reality and think the second one is fantasy. But you've been traveling between them, sometimes consciously, sometimes not. You've had moments where you've experienced the impossible becoming possible so clearly that you couldn't deny it was real, followed by periods where you wondered if you imagined it all. This isn't instability. This is calibration. You're learning to navigate between dimensions of consciousness. You've probably felt it building recently. This internal pressure, like something inside you is expanding beyond the boundaries of who you thought you were. It's uncomfortable because transformation always is. The old identity is dissolving while the new one emerges, and that space between who you were and who you're becoming feels like chaos. But here's what nobody explains: that chaos is actually coherence reorganizing itself at a higher level. Think about what happens when water becomes steam. For a moment, it's neither liquid nor gas. It exists in a transitional state that defies easy categorization. That's where you are right now, in the quantum transition zone, where your old operating system is being upgraded to run programs that were impossible in your previous configuration. This transition isn't random. It's been orchestrated by your higher self, the version of you that exists outside linear time and can see the entire trajectory of your evolution. That version has been seeding your current reality with exactly the right challenges, opportunities, and wake-up calls to prepare you for this moment when everything shifts into a higher gear. The pressure you've been feeling isn't pressure to become something you're not. It's pressure to stop pretending to be something you never were. It's the authentic you demanding to be expressed, demanding to be lived, demanding to be embodied without apology or compromise. This pressure will only intensify until you stop resisting it and start cooperating with it. Every spiritual tradition throughout history has described this process in different language, but they're all pointing to the same phenomenon. The moment when human consciousness recognizes itself as divine consciousness, temporarily having a human experience. When this recognition moves from intellectual understanding to cellular knowing, everything changes. Not because the universe suddenly starts responding to you differently, but because you finally start responding to the universe as the creative force you've always been. What you interpreted as setbacks were actually course corrections. What looked like missed opportunities were the universe protecting you from settling for less than what's truly aligned. Everything that seemed to go wrong was actually going exactly right, according to a timeline you couldn't see from your limited perspective. The delays weren't punishment. They were preparation. The waiting wasn't wasted time. It was integration time. But let's go deeper into this preparation process, because it's more sophisticated than most people realize. Every experience you've had, including the ones you'd rather forget, has been contributing to your capacity to handle higher frequencies of consciousness. The heartbreak taught you to keep your heart open even when it hurts. The failure taught you that your worth isn't dependent on external outcomes. The betrayal taught you to trust your own inner knowing above all else. Each challenge activated dormant aspects of your consciousness that you wouldn't have accessed any other way. The version of you that emerges from difficulty is always more expanded, more resilient, more capable than the version that entered it. This isn't just psychological growth. This is consciousness evolution. You've been systematically upgrading your ability to hold more light, more love, more power, more truth. The universe doesn't waste anything. Every moment of confusion was building your tolerance for uncertainty. Every period of isolation was developing your capacity for self-companionship. Every time you had to find strength you didn't know you had, you were discovering resources within yourself that exist beyond personality, beyond biography, beyond anything you thought you knew about human limitation. You're standing at the threshold of a completely different version of reality, and it's asking you for something specific. Not hope, not wishful thinking, not passive faith. It's asking for embodied certainty, the kind of knowing that moves through your cells, that changes how you breathe, how you walk into rooms, how you speak to yourself when nobody else is listening. This embodied certainty isn't something you have to manufacture or convince yourself of. It's something you remember. It's the same certainty you had as a small child when you played make-believe, and the imaginary world felt completely real. Before you learned to distinguish between real and not real, you lived in a state of pure possibility where anything could happen and usually did. That state of consciousness isn't childish, it's quantum. Children naturally operate from the understanding that consciousness is primary and physical reality is secondary. They haven't yet been trained to believe that what they can see with their eyes is more real than what they can feel with their imagination. They haven't learned to doubt the intelligence of their intuition or question the validity of their inner knowing. Recovering this quantum consciousness doesn't mean regressing to childlike thinking. It means upgrading to higher dimensional thinking that includes but transcends logical, linear processing. It means remembering that you are not separate from the intelligence that creates worlds, that moves planets, that orchestrates the precise timing of every synchronicity in your life. The future version of yourself, the one who lives in abundance, in power, in unshakable peace, they're not waiting for you to figure it out. They're already here. They exist in the quantum field of all possibilities, and they're broadcasting their frequency constantly. Your job isn't to become them. Your job is to tune in, to match their vibration, to live as if the gap between who you are and who they are has already closed. This isn't metaphysical pretending. This is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. In quantum physics, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. The act of observation collapses all possibilities into one reality. Your consciousness is the observer. Your attention is the force that collapses infinite potential into specific manifestation. When you consistently observe yourself as the powerful, abundant, peaceful being you truly are, reality has no choice but to reflect that observation back to you. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your future self isn't just broadcasting their frequency to you. They're actively collaborating with you to bridge the gap between where you are and where they are. Every time you have an inspired idea, that's your future self downloading information to you about what's possible. Every time you feel a sudden surge of motivation, that's your future self lending you their energy. Every time you catch yourself thinking thoughts that feel bigger than your current reality, that's your future self influencing your present moment consciousness. This isn't science fiction. This is how consciousness operates outside the constraints of linear time. Your future self has access to information about the path between here and there that your present self can't see yet. They know which choices will accelerate your evolution and which ones will slow it down. They know which people you need to meet and which opportunities you need to recognize. They're constantly sending you signals, but you have to be in the right frequency to receive them clearly. What you desire isn't separate from you by time or space or circumstance. It's separate from you by frequency. And frequency is something you can adjust right now, in this moment, without changing anything external. It starts with a simple recognition. What you want wants you back. The life you've been imagining has been imagining you too. The success you've been calling in has been calling you forward. This principle operates on the understanding that consciousness is not localized to your brain or even your body. Consciousness is a field that permeates everything, and individual awareness is like a radio tuning into specific stations within that field. When you desire something, you're actually resonating with a frequency where that thing already exists. Your desire is proof that you have the capacity to tune into that frequency. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to perceive it as possible. But most people treat their desires like they're trying to pull something toward them from a distance. They think they have to work hard enough, wait long enough, prove themselves worthy enough to eventually attract what they want. This approach creates resistance because it's based on the illusion of separation. It assumes that you and what you want exist in different locations, and you have to somehow bridge that gap. The quantum understanding is completely different. You and what you want exist in the same field of consciousness. You're not trying to attract it. You're trying to align with it. You're not trying to make it happen. You're trying to allow it to happen. The difference is subtle but profound. Attraction implies effort and distance. Alignment implies recognition and resonance. When you align with the frequency of what you want, you don't just draw it to you. You discover that you were already connected to it, that the separation was an illusion created by focusing on the wrong frequency. It's like suddenly realizing that the song you've been trying to hear has been playing all along. You just needed to tune your radio to the right station. This is why manifestation can happen so quickly sometimes. It's not that the universe suddenly scrambled to create what you wanted. It's that you suddenly aligned with what was already available in the quantum field of possibilities. The speed of manifestation is directly related to the speed of alignment. And alignment can happen in an instant when you truly understand what you're doing. But here's where most people get stuck. They think they have to earn it, prove they're worthy, wait for the right moment, build up enough credibility. They treat their dreams like they're applying for a job they might not get. But what if I told you that the reason you can see it, feel it, imagine it with such clarity is because it's already yours? What if your ability to conceive of it is the universe's way of showing you what's already in your quantum inheritance? This concept of quantum inheritance is crucial to understand. You didn't randomly develop the capacity to imagine specific possibilities. Your imagination is not a fantasy generator. It's a perception organ that can see across dimensional boundaries. When you imagine something with clarity and emotional resonance, you're not making it up. You're tuning into a reality that already exists in potential form. Think about how imagination actually works. Where do ideas come from? Where do visions originate? You can't trace them back to a specific source in your brain or your past experience. They seem to arise from somewhere beyond your personal consciousness, as if you're receiving information rather than creating it. That's because you are. Imagination is how higher dimensional information translates itself into forms your current level of consciousness can process. Every great invention, every breakthrough discovery, every revolutionary idea started as someone's impossible imagination. But here's what's fascinating. Multiple people often have the same impossible ideas at the same time, even when they have no contact with each other. This isn't coincidence. This is consciousness evolution expressing itself through multiple receivers simultaneously. You're not imagining your dreams and visions randomly. You're receiving downloads about what's possible for you, what's already prepared for you in the quantum field. Your imagination is showing you previews of realities that exist in potential, waiting for you to align with them fully enough to collapse them into your physical experience. The sense of unworthiness that makes you think you have to earn your dreams is just old programming from a consciousness paradigm that believed in scarcity, competition, and external authority. In the quantum paradigm, worthiness isn't something you achieve, it's something you are. Your existence itself is proof of your worthiness to exist, and therefore to experience whatever expansion of existence you can imagine. You're not asking for too much when you envision abundance. You're not being unrealistic when you expect miracles. You're not deluding yourself when you feel certain that everything is working out for you. You're aligning with the frequency of truth that your conditioned mind has been trained to doubt, but your quantum consciousness recognizes immediately. You've been through the fire lately, haven't you? The pressure, the uncertainty, the nights when you questioned everything you thought you knew about yourself. People may have dismissed you, overlooked you, made you feel like you were asking for too much or reaching too far. But every moment of that struggle was forging something inside you that can't be broken. You've been in the cosmic gymnasium, building spiritual muscle you didn't even know you needed. But let's talk about what was really happening during those difficult periods, because it wasn't random suffering. It was systematic preparation. Every challenge you faced has been precisely calibrated to activate specific aspects of your consciousness that you'll need to navigate the reality you're moving into. The struggles weren't punishment, they were initiation. Think about how a butterfly develops inside a chrysalis. From the outside, it looks like dissolution, like the caterpillar is being destroyed. But what's actually happening is a complete reorganization of matter and consciousness into a form capable of entirely different possibilities. The caterpillar's crawling consciousness is being transformed into the butterfly's flying consciousness. This isn't evolution. This is metamorphosis. That's what's been happening to you during the difficult periods. Your crawling consciousness has been dissolving so your flying consciousness could emerge. The parts of your identity that were built around limitation, around struggle, around the belief that you have to work hard for small rewards. Those parts have been systematically deconstructed so that a completely different operating system could come online. This is why the old solutions stopped working. This is why the strategies that used to bring you success suddenly felt empty and exhausting. This is why relationships that once felt comfortable started feeling constraining. You weren't failing at life. You were outgrowing life as you knew it. Your consciousness was expanding beyond the boundaries of what your previous reality could contain. The isolation many people experience during their awakening process isn't social rejection. It's frequency differentiation. As your consciousness operates at higher and higher frequencies, you naturally begin to resonate with different people, different opportunities, different ways of being in the world. The old connections don't disappear because you did something wrong. They dissolve because you're no longer vibrationally compatible with them. This can feel lonely until you realize that you're not being separated from connection. You're being prepared for connection at a much deeper level. The relationships that emerge when you're operating from your authentic frequency are based on resonance rather than need, on mutual evolution rather than mutual dependency, on shared purpose rather than shared limitation. Now you're different. You can feel it. The things that used to trigger you barely register. The opinions that used to derail you feel distant and irrelevant. You're developing what quantum physicists call observer effect, the ability to change reality simply by how you're looking at it. Your attention has become a creative force. Your expectation has become a magnetic field. But this isn't just about becoming more resilient or emotionally stable. You're developing superhuman capacities that most people don't even know are possible. You're learning to see patterns that others miss, to sense energy that others can't detect, to know things without being told, to influence outcomes through the quality of your presence rather than the force of your actions. But don't wait for external validation to start living like you know this. Don't wait for other people to see what you see before you start moving like it's real. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you're being. And who you're being is determined by the story you're telling yourself about what's possible right now. You're not here to play small anymore. Playing small was a survival mechanism from a version of reality that no longer exists. You've outgrown the need to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for the expanded version of you. The rooms you're meant to be in, the conversations you're meant to have, the impact you're meant to make. They require the full expression of who you really are. There's a part of you that knows exactly what you're capable of. It doesn't doubt. It doesn't question. It doesn't need proof or permission or perfect conditions. This part of you moves with quantum certainty because it exists outside of linear time. It can see the end point from the beginning. It knows that everything between here and there is just unfolding, just revealing what was always true. This part of you isn't your personality or your ego or your thinking mind. It's your essential consciousness, the awareness that was present before you developed an identity and will remain after your current identity dissolves. This consciousness isn't limited by your personal history or your current circumstances. It exists in direct connection with the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and synchronizes every element of the natural world in perfect harmony. When you learn to access this part of yourself consistently, you stop trying to figure everything out with your rational mind and start knowing things through direct perception. You stop needing external validation because you have access to an internal source of knowing that's more reliable than any opinion or expert advice. You stop feeling uncertain about your path because you can sense the rightness or wrongness of choices before you make them. This isn't mystical fantasy. This is how consciousness naturally operates when it's not constrained by conditioning that tells you to doubt your perceptions, second-guess your instincts, and look outside yourself for answers that can only be found within. Indigenous cultures, ancient wisdom traditions, and quantum physicists all point to the same truth. Consciousness is fundamental, and individual awareness can access the infinite intelligence that underlies all existence. Your rational mind is an excellent tool for analyzing and organizing information, but it's not designed to be the primary navigator of your life experience. It doesn't have access to the multidimensional intelligence that can see the interconnections between all possibilities and guide you toward the outcomes that serve your highest evolution. That intelligence operates through intuition, through sudden knowing, through the felt sense of rightness that emerges when you're aligned with your true path. Every time you choose to listen to this knowing, instead of the voice that says, "But what if?" you collapse 1,000 possibilities down to the one that serves you most. Every time you act from this certainty instead of from fear, you send a signal to the field that reorganizes everything around you. This isn't metaphysical theory. This is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. The voice of quantum certainty doesn't speak in the language of logic or analysis. It speaks in the language of energy, of feeling, of sudden clarity that bypasses thought entirely. It's the voice that says yes before your mind can list all the reasons why something might not work. It's the voice that says now, even when conditions aren't perfect. It's the voice that says this way, even when you can't see where the path leads. Sometimes growth looks like explosion, sudden, dramatic, undeniable change that reshapes everything overnight. But more often, growth looks like becoming, a gradual but irreversible shift in how you show up, how you choose, how you respond to what life presents. You're becoming someone who doesn't need external circumstances to change before you feel worthy of what you want. You're becoming someone who generates their own validation, their own security, their own sense of rightness. The path forward isn't about figuring it all out. It's about moving forward anyway. It's about taking the next step with trust, even when the staircase is invisible. Clarity doesn't come from thinking about it more. Clarity comes from moving in the direction of what feels most alive, most aligned, most like the truth you carry but haven't fully spoken yet. You're not delusional for believing in bigger things. You're not naive for expecting miracles. You're not asking for too much when you imagine a reality that feels like home in every cell of your body. You're tuning into what's already available in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. You're just choosing which channel to broadcast on. The shift everyone's talking about, the awakening that's happening globally, you're not watching it from the sidelines. You're part of it. You're one of the nodes in the network that's anchoring a new frequency on this planet. Your individual transformation isn't just personal. It's contributing to a collective elevation of consciousness that's been building for decades. But let's understand what this collective shift actually means, because it's more profound than most people realize. Humanity is experiencing a species-wide upgrade in consciousness. Not everyone is participating consciously, but everyone is being affected by it. The old paradigms of separation, scarcity, and control are dissolving because they can't sustain themselves in the higher frequencies that are now available on this planet. You've probably noticed that things that used to work in the world aren't working anymore. Systems that used to seem stable are collapsing. Lies that used to be believed are being exposed. People who used to accept limitations are demanding more. This isn't chaos. This is reorganization. The entire structure of human civilization is being upgraded to support higher dimensional consciousness. This is why you felt different lately. Why old patterns suddenly feel impossible to maintain. Why you're craving deeper conversations, more authentic connections, work that actually matters. You're being called forward because the world needs people who remember their power, who refuse to settle for less than magic, who live like the impossible is inevitable. Your role in this collective shift isn't to convince other people or to save anyone who isn't ready. Your role is to embody the frequency of the new paradigm so consistently that you become a walking demonstration of what's possible. When people are in your presence, they should feel more alive, more hopeful, more connected to their own potential. Not because you're trying to influence them, but because your authentic frequency automatically activates theirs. This is how consciousness evolution actually happens. Not through teaching or preaching or convincing, but through resonance. When enough people embody a higher frequency, it creates a morphic field that makes that frequency accessible to everyone. You're not just transforming your own life, you're making transformation easier for every person who comes after you. The thoughts you're thinking right now are literally restructuring your neural pathways. The emotions you're feeling are changing your electromagnetic field. The words you speak over yourself are programming your subconscious mind. This isn't just personal development. This is reality engineering. You're not just improving your life, you're designing it from the quantum level up. Take a moment right now and comment below with this phrase: I am ready to receive everything that's already mine. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you're sending a signal directly to the cosmos that the playing small era is officially over. This isn't just engagement. This is energetic declaration. This is you interrupting the old program and installing the new one. So what does this mean for how you move through your days? It means you start expecting different outcomes. It means you start preparing for success instead of protecting yourself from disappointment. It means you start speaking to yourself like someone you deeply respect and believe in. It means you start making choices from the place you want to be, rather than the place you've been. The universe is a vast field of consciousness that responds to the signals you're constantly broadcasting. Every thought is a transmission. Every emotion is a frequency. Every action is a vote for the reality you want to experience. Most people broadcast randomly, unconsciously, sending mixed signals that create mixed results. But you're learning to be intentional with your transmission. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions around a singular vision of what's possible, you create what quantum physicists call coherence. And coherence is the most powerful creative force in the universe. It's how particles behave differently when they're observed. It's how intention changes the structure of water. It's how your focused attention can literally reshape the fabric of reality. If this is resonating with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people discover these quantum consciousness principles when they need them most. But here's what makes all the difference. You can't fake coherence. You can't pretend your way into alignment. Your body knows when you're telling the truth and when you're performing hope. Your nervous system can detect the difference between genuine certainty and wishful thinking. This is why affirmations sometimes feel empty and why visualization sometimes feels like fantasy. If your whole being isn't on board, you're not creating coherence. You're creating internal conflict. Coherence isn't about convincing yourself that something is true when part of you doubts it. Coherence is about discovering what's already true at such a deep level that doubt becomes impossible. It's about finding the frequency where what you want and who you are aren't two different things. It's about accessing the dimension of consciousness where your desires arise from your essence rather than from a sense of lack. This is why some people can manifest seemingly impossible things effortlessly, while others struggle to create even small changes despite years of effort. It's not about who's more spiritual or who knows better techniques. It's about who's achieved internal coherence around their vision. When every part of your being resonates with the same truth, reality has no choice but to mirror that truth back to you. Creating coherence requires a different approach than most manifestation teachings suggest. Instead of trying to force your thoughts and emotions to align with what you want, you need to discover what you want that already aligns with who you are. Instead of trying to convince yourself to believe in possibilities that feel foreign to your system, you need to uncover the possibilities that feel like coming home. Your authentic desires, the ones that arise from your deepest nature rather than from comparison or conditioning, already exist in a state of coherence with your essential being. When you connect with these desires, you don't have to work to create alignment. You discover that alignment was there all along, waiting for you to stop forcing and start flowing. The question isn't, how can I make myself want this enough to manifest it? The question is, what do I want so naturally, so authentically, that every cell in my body says yes without hesitation? When you find that answer, manifestation stops being work and starts being expression. You're not trying to create something. You're allowing something that's already trying to create itself through you. But here's what makes all the difference. You can't fake coherence. You can't pretend your way into alignment. Your body knows when you're telling the truth and when you're performing hope. Your nervous system can detect the difference between genuine certainty and wishful thinking. This is why affirmations sometimes feel empty and why visualization sometimes feels like fantasy. If your whole being isn't on board, you're not creating coherence. You're creating internal conflict. Real transformation happens when every part of you says yes to the same vision. When your mind can see it, your heart can feel it, your body can sense it, and your spirit can recognize it as home. That's when the impossible starts becoming inevitable. That's when life stops feeling like something that happens to you and starts feeling like something you're actively creating. I'm curious, what's one old pattern or belief you're ready to release to make space for this new frequency? Share in the comments below what you're letting go of as you step into this alignment. If what I'm sharing is touching something deep inside you, if it's activating a recognition that feels like remembering rather than learning, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency. To this movement of people who are done playing small, done waiting for permission, done settling for realities that feel too small for the vastness of who they really are. Subscribe to stay connected to this space where transformation isn't just discussed, it's lived. You've been preparing for this moment your entire life. Every challenge that tried to break you actually broke you open. Every disappointment that seemed to set you back actually set you up for something better. Every time you had to find strength you didn't know you had, you were building the capacity to hold the magnitude of what's coming. The waiting is over, not because external conditions have finally aligned, but because you've finally aligned. Not because you've become worthy, but because you've remembered you always were. Not because you've earned it, but because earning was never the point. You belong here, in this frequency, in this possibility, in this version of reality where what you want and what you are aren't two different things. But belonging here requires embodying here. It requires moving through your days like someone who knows their value. It requires speaking like someone who expects to be heard. It requires choosing like someone who trusts their instincts. It requires showing up like someone who has something valuable to offer, rather than someone who needs to prove they're valuable. This shift in how you show up creates a ripple effect that touches everything and everyone in your field. Your elevated frequency gives other people permission to elevate theirs. Your courage to live authentically inspires others to drop their masks. Your willingness to expect more from life shows others what's possible for them too. You're not just transforming your own reality, you're contributing to the transformation of collective reality. That's the secret very few people understand. The universe isn't testing you to see if you're worthy. It's mirroring you to show you what you already believe. It's reflecting your internal state in external form. It's demonstrating through your experience what frequency you're consistently broadcasting. So if you want to change what you're experiencing, you have to change what you're being. What breakthrough or shift have you experienced since you started embodying this new understanding? Drop a comment and share how this frequency is already showing up in your reality. Your transformation inspires others to step into theirs. What are you being right now? In this moment, as these words land in your consciousness, what energy are you embodying? Are you being someone who expects good things to happen? Are you being someone who trusts that what they want is already on its way? Are you being someone who knows that setbacks are setups and delays are divine timing? Because this is how reality responds to you, not based on what you say you want, but based on what you're consistently being. And you get to choose what you're being in every moment. You get to choose whether you're going to be someone who waits for evidence before believing, or someone who believes so strongly that they create the evidence. Expect miracles, but not as something separate from you. Expect them as natural expressions of your alignment. Expect synchronicities, but know that you're the one creating the conditions for them to occur. Expect breakthrough moments, but understand that they're the result of all the small moments where you chose faith over fear, trust over doubt, expansion over contraction. When you start expecting good things consistently, something interesting happens. Good things start expecting you. Opportunities start seeking you out. The right people start showing up at exactly the right time. Resources start flowing toward you in ways that feel magical, but are actually the natural result of clear, consistent, coherent energy. Maybe it's been hard to maintain this level of trust. Maybe you felt like you're carrying your vision alone while everyone around you lives in smaller possibilities. But just because others can't see what you see, doesn't mean your vision isn't valid. Just because the results haven't materialized yet, doesn't mean they're not materializing. Some realities take time to densify from pure possibility into physical form. You're not behind schedule. You're not missing your window. You're not too old, too young, too anything to step into what's yours. You're exactly where you need to be to receive what's been prepared for you. Every moment of preparation, every season of waiting, every experience that seemed unrelated, All of it has been coordinating to deliver you to this exact moment where everything becomes possible. But possibility only becomes reality through embodied action, through moving like you know rather than hoping you might be right, through speaking like someone who expects to be heard rather than someone who's grateful for any attention, through choosing like someone who trusts their instincts rather than someone who needs consensus before they can act. Let go of the timeline your mind created and trust the one that's actually unfolding. Things aren't falling apart, they're falling into place. The discomfort you've been feeling isn't evidence that something's wrong, it's evidence that something's shifting. The old structures that no longer serve you are dissolving to make space for structures that support the expanded version of who you're becoming. You weren't guided to this message to be inspired for a moment and then return to the same patterns. You were guided here to remember something you forgot, to activate something that's been dormant, to step through a doorway that's been waiting for you to notice it was open. You are the moment you've been waiting for. You are the answer you've been seeking. You are the change you want to see in your life and in the world. Not the version of you that's still figuring it out, but the version that already knows. Not the version that's still healing, but the version that's already whole. Not the version that's still becoming, but the version that already is. Take a moment and drop one word in the comments that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. One word that represents the frequency you're committing to broadcast. One word that serves as your energetic signature to the quantum field, your declaration of who you're being from this moment on. If you're ready to stay connected to this frequency, if you're ready to surround yourself with others who are living at this level of possibility, then subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent. To remain aligned with the version of reality where your dreams aren't fantasies, they're blueprints. Where your vision isn't wishful thinking, it's remembering what was always true. The more of us who embody this frequency, who live like the impossible is inevitable, who expect miracles as naturally as we expect the sun to rise, the more the world reflects that truth back to all of us. Your individual alignment contributes to collective awakening. Your personal transformation becomes a gift to everyone whose life you touch. Consider watching this video every morning to anchor this frequency before you start your day, or share it with someone who's ready to remember their power. When you share these quantum consciousness principles, you create an energetic ripple effect that accelerates manifestation for both you and them, expanding collective awareness and reinforcing your own understanding of these truths. The waiting season is complete. The preparation phase is over. The next chapter isn't beginning tomorrow or next week or when conditions are perfect. It's beginning now. You're walking into it with every breath, every choice, every moment where you remember that you are not a victim of reality. You are a creator of it. Move differently, think differently, speak differently. Not because you're trying to become someone new, but because you're finally allowing who you've always been to lead. The frequency has shifted, the timeline has accelerated, the possibilities have expanded, and nothing will ever be the same again. To deepen this understanding of how your consciousness directly shapes reality, watch The Observer Breath: How to Change Your Reality from Within, where you'll discover the specific breathing technique that activates your observer power and shifts your quantum state instantly.